Welcome back. The machines have been tested. The plans are in place for voters to head to the polls on Tuesday for Minnesota's primary election. Minnesota Secretary of State Steve Simon visiting an elections office last week in Dakota County to oversee the process. And Secretary Simon joins us now live. Secretary Simon, we appreciate your time today.
My pleasure.
All right, we know checking the machines, overseeing the process happens every election. How concerned are you right now about the Protect the Vote GOP campaign going on across the country and significant number of people with ongoing concerns about election fraud?
Well, that group, as you probably know, was in town, I think in Carver County just a few days ago this last week. And my philosophy is this: any group that wants to recruit election judges, which is what we call our poll workers in Minnesota, is fine by me, whether it's a political party or some other political group or a nonprofit or whatever, as long as the people they recruit understand that they've got to follow the law. And the law in Minnesota is, if you're going to work in the polling place, perfectly fine if you have a strong political view, but you literally raise your hand and take an oath to be fair and impartial and to leave your politics at the door. If you can do that and follow the rules, doesn't matter to me who recruits the folks. We need 30,000 people every election to stand up and step up and do that job. So it's okay with me as long as everyone understands what the law is.
Are you concerned that some might take protection too far in some way?
Well, someone can try to take it too far, but the good news in Minnesota is we've got really rock-solid laws that are very clear about what you can do in a polling place. So if you recruit a poll challenger, for example, which is also what this group was doing last week, which is also fine, every political party can send one person to a poll, just one, not a swarm of 20. And even there, the rules are, and this is in state law, you can only stand within you can't stand within 6 feet of a voter, you can't speak to a voter, and you can only challenge a voter if it's based on personal knowledge, not a whim, not a hunch, not a bad vibe. So we've got good rules in place. The other rule I should point out we have in place in Minnesota is we have a party balance rule. So no one political party can sort of run the table and flood the place with people who share their point of view. We've got a balance requirement in Minnesota. So I think we've got the guardrails in place to make sure that we're protecting voters and those who work at the polls.
What if people don't follow those rules, the 6-foot rule, or talk to a voter? What happens?
Right. So the chief election judge is empowered to bring in law enforcement if need be. It's extremely rare that something like that happens. But if it were to happen, if someone were to insist on speaking to a voter or getting in their face or whatever, they could be removed by law enforcement.
All right, keep that in mind. As part of the Protect the Vote training, GOP leaders have a claim that a person not allowed to vote here in Minnesota received a ballot in the mail. Your office told us on Thursday that they have not seen a claim or had it brought to their attention. We also reached out to the GOP nationally and locally. We're waiting to hear back from them, but I'm still curious. Have you seen any evidence of this claim come about?
We have not, and we've asked for it. You know, we take very seriously any claim or allegation that there was misconduct out there, whether it's someone receiving a ballot they shouldn't have or anything else. But we need the facts. We need to see a copy of the ballot. We need to know who the person is or where they live or how they got in the system or whether there was a clerical error somewhere. We just don't have that. We just have a letter saying this thing happened. We just need to know more. We need to know the facts before we address it.
And you talked about the training for the challengers and the election judges. What if for the voters, for the rest of us who are just walking into our polling place and they see something or hear something that doesn't seem quite right? What can I do? What can we do?
Yeah, first line of defense is contact the head election judge there, the people staffing the polls, and tell them what you think you saw. And then they are empowered to bring it up the chain. They can talk to law enforcement. They can call our office. Depending on what it is, you can get a court order on the spot that day in a particular jurisdiction. There are multiple ways that people can point out something if they see something that shouldn't be happening.
All right, all very good to keep in mind. Secretary of State Steve Simon, thank you, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again. Polls open on Tuesday. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.